By instinct, he dialed the number, and alas, it rang. Pulling the phone away from his ears, he looked at the screen in horror, watching as the phone was being answered on the third ring. Gently, like in slow motion. He placed the phone back to his ears and waited with bated breath as he heard the unmistaken voice of his dead boss. Hello, hello, hello. The raspy voice of late Mr. George bellowed through the canals of his ears, hitting ominous notes of dread directly into his brain. Scared stiff and shocked, he suddenly felt dread creeping down his spine like a careful spider leaving a trail of silk. He sprang to his feet instantly, with the phone now away from his ears and smack in his hands. He stared in complete disbelief at his phone as though it was a strange object he had no business with. His body started a series of instantaneous responses. With quivering fingers, his heart started beating hard and fast, like it was about to explode. With the rising of his adrenaline levels, he started to hyperventilate. Goose pimples formed on his skin in a coordinated reaction, and sweat broke out all over his body. It felt like his skin had another hot skin on the outside, and his small eyes were now wide open in utter shock. His brain started to fire out negative thoughts like a machine gun. This is impossible. This man has been dead for 4 years. His phone shouldn't be ringing, let alone hearing his voice. And more thoughts crept in. He's dead. Dead men don't answer or receive phone calls. And if by chance this is a prank, it is a silly one. Wherever this is, it must be a bloody joker. He started pacing about his room irrationally as he disengaged the call, his cell phone still in his right hand while he contemplated the situation. With sleep well and truly murdered now, he was sure he was just as stunned as though he saw a ghost. What the hell is going on? Oh my God.
This is our classic FM book on review, and tonight we're looking at a book published by Wine Press Publishing, and this is Prisoner of Fate. It's written by Akin Akingbogun, who has read from it. Aki, can you capture what you read and situate it in the book?
Okay, that was a scene where Benjamin, the protagonist of the book itself, had received a call on his mobile phone, and it was presumably from his boss, who he had served and worked with and had passed on 4 years, presumably dead 4 years earlier. And he couldn't believe it because it was spooky, and particularly because the context was such that there was an heavy rainfall, and so there was rustling of his curtains, there was no electricity, so it created that ominous environment and scene where you'd be wondering exactly who called him. Was it his boss? Was this some network jamming? Or is it some spiritual, mental illness? Or is he a prisoner of his own mind? That scene lays the foundation for the questions that eventually get answered throughout the course of the book.
All right, if you have just joined us, it is our classic FM book on review, and tonight we're looking at Prisoner of Fate, Akin Akingbogun. This is a thriller, definitely, yes. I think it's right to take a song now. And the song that comes to mind is Redemption Song. Maybe you probably want to have, something else.
I'm a fan of Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, so
you can't go wrong with him.
You can't go wrong. Definitely, you're right. Absolutely. You definitely can't go wrong with him. Right. So we can take that song, Redemption Song, yeah? Sure. Redemption Song by Bob Marley. Now, there is this argument. Majek Fashek's version, Bob Marley's version, which is better?
It's something about original that works for me, really. Original works for me all the time. I like the remix versions of some songs, but for this one,
you just
aced it.
You just blew my balloon, but it's fine. You buy me a dozen. All right, stay with us.
Right. So you like the Majek Fashek version?
Well, I'm just being patriotic. Just the Nigerian. You just being Nigerian.